Now it appears I have purchased a 1971 Plymouth Roadrunner that has been off the road since 1989. That's 35 years if you're doing your math correct. Stick around to the end of the video because we want to make this car run for the very first time in over 3 decades. Now, how did I end up with said Roadrunner? Now, unfortunately, a man who had a large collection of some great muscle cars and some really rare trucks had some untimely health issues, and the family decided to get rid of his collection. This was a part of it, but it wasn't a part of that particular auction. I bought 4 other cars from that one that you will see in a later video, but this one actually came from a separate auction. Now, the Rebel was a part of that, so you can kind of understand what kind of stuff this guy liked. And this was his pride and joy because it sat inside. And basically, from what you can see from these pictures, courtesy of Kevin Shaw from Mopar Connection, there was just a bunch of stuff piled up around it, but it at least stayed inside in the dry. And you're gonna see why that was a great thing here in just a little bit. Now, fast forward another month. The guys who actually purchased all this stuff and was helping kind of mediate the auction came to me and said, hey, would you like to purchase a car? No, of course I would, but it was just too high. I wasn't able to afford it at the time, just needed too much work and too much of a cost to actually get the car, so I didn't pull the trigger on it. Fast forward another month, sure enough, here comes the Roadrunner up for auction again. And you saw in the second channel video, it's up in the top right now, where Brian and I actually went to look at the car before the auction ended. So sure enough, we go check it out, see it's a pretty solid car. I bid on it, and I bet you can tell what happened. It ends up in my shop. But that's where the story starts. We had to get this car home from the auction, and that was a battle in itself. So thus begins the story of the Roadrunner. But before we get started, we gotta make it official with the McCool Auto decal on the back glass. Link in the description below. We were coming out here to load this thing up, and when I came to look at it, I'm 99% sure it had a key in the ignition, but it doesn't anymore. So now I can't turn the column or get it out of gear, but we're pretty straight on there. We can play around with the winch and kind of pull side to side, but we're gonna have to pick up the rear axle with our off-road jack here from Strongway, and just, that's good enough, Briar. Just let it roll forward. That's the only way I know to do it, because you can't get it out of park without the key in it. I could do it at home, but I don't have my tools with me because I thought it had a key. But here we are. So let's see if we can winch this thing on. We're getting close. This is hectic, but we're almost halfway. Just trying not to hit any sides. She's an open rear, so maybe that's a good thing, bad thing, I don't know. Going backwards. It's on there. That was not fun. I've dealt with cars that are stuck in park or the brakes are stuck. That's not a big deal when you can't turn it when you're supposed to be able to, and you're not prepared to do for such things. That kind of puts a little hitch in your giddy up, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, it's on the trailer. We're heading out of here. At least we got it, right? Could be worse. We had to get it on dollies on the rear so that way we could get it in the shop. It's a lot more work than you realize, ain't it? This is the stuff you don't see on camera. This is where all the extra effort goes in that you don't get to see. All of us struggling and not having fun whatsoever. First things first, we got to make sure that the actual Roadrunner horn is doing something. Whoop. It does work. Well, yep, it's a good car. Yeah, worth the money. Everything is good. That's the best thing on the car. This car is incredibly original, and my goal is to preserve as much originality as I possibly can. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to dive into this car and see every little aspect that it has. And of course, it needs a good cleaning. And you need to stick around to the end of the video to see, will this car fire up for the first time in 35 years. So you saw that we actually had the key taken from this car. So unfortunately, when we unloaded it from the trailer, we had to basically slide it off on the back, put it on dollies in the rear, and we can't steer the car. So we're gonna have to get a key made, or change out the lock cylinders at some point. So it's kind of unfortunate. I was really bummed that we lost the original key, but maybe we can get a reproduction. But as you can see, I believe this is this F8? My Charger seems a little, it might be F8 green. But anyway, this is a green on green Roadrunner. And it is a little rusty. It's not perfect. So we've got a little bit of spot right here. You can see that original decal. Not sure if this was white or the black with a reflective material, but only this side survived. You go across the roof, look here, it's completely gone. So this car probably sat outside for a little while, or sat next to a window or something. I don't really know. But half of it's gone, and this half is the only thing that survived. Quarters, looks like somebody had put a little Bondo. The other side's a little worse, but it's got a couple dents here and there. But I think, from what I can tell, it looks like it's original paint. If not, it's been preserved really well. Look how shiny it is right in this one spot. That's going to clean up so good. You guys need to stick around to see this thing get washed, because it's going to be beautiful. So you can see back here, 1989. Last time this thing was on the road. Fantastic. We don't have a trunk key either, so the same situation, but again, we'll get it figured out. Some surface rust on this side. I think this is the worst side of it, because you see a little bit of rust right here. The stripe is completely gone except for the Roadrunner. That survived. And then back there, a little bit of rot. Had some Bondo put over it, of course, so the trunk extension's gone. And then that. Really though, that's the worst of it. This right here is the worst rust. The frame rails are nice. We've got a spot in the front floor that we're going to fix. Other than that, this car is absolutely solid. I am very proud of how good this car looks. We've got 14-inch rallies on it. Not sure what the mix-up is. Somebody had put these on here, but here's the cool thing. When I looked at the car, it had these sitting in it. Oh, these are 15-inch rallies. This, from what I can tell, should be the original wheel, because these are, as you can see right here, 15 by 6.5. They're big bolt pattern. That's the right wheel. So I guess somebody had just had some rollers or something, and they made a mix-match set of wheels to get it at least off the ground and be able to be movable. And the good thing is the wheels are not locked up. I know Briar's excited about no drums having to be broken loose. So we're going to put those back on it. We'll have to paint those, of course, and make them look really nice. These center caps are not the original caps. The original cap is on this side. Let me show you. So after 71, I believe 72, this was the first year for the Acorn style hubcap. That is the original center cap right there. See the difference here? So these are the original ones that were on the 14. So somebody said, I'll just go ahead and make the swap while I'm doing it. On the front, we've got police steel wheels. My favorite, I'm keeping those. But look at this. This thing is absolutely magnificent. My favorite thing about this car, besides that, I gotta fix that. Look how, just clean the outside of it is. It's all super preserved. I mean, 383 on the call-outs, all that's still there. I mean, we got light surface rust in these areas. Again, steel wheel up front. The 71, it was a one-year-only deal. 72 had the same body style, but they did different marker lights. I think these are actually reflectors, if I'm not mistaken. No, they are lights. They're actually turn signals. My bad. So these are turn signals, but in 72, they went to the big rectangular kind. It's like on my Challenger, my Dart over there. And they went with that for like a decade or longer. But this is a one-year only situation. So you can tell the difference between a 71 and a 72 because of that. Probably my favorite thing about the car when we saw it for the first time, Look at that license plate. It's been bent. I didn't do that, but it was like that. That's so cool. Got the original Roadrunner. We're keeping that, and we're going to bend this tag plate back forward, and we need the original Roadrunner that goes in the middle of the grill. It's literally just a Roadrunner head. I think that's cool. The grill is perfect. I mean, we might even be able to go back and kind of touch it up a little bit. The bottom grill's super perfect. The lower valance is really nice. I mean, it's just a really solid car altogether. Got a couple dents. Again, for a, how old is this car? It was built in 11 of 70. So that would put it at almost 54, right? So it's almost 54 years old. To be this nice of a car for 54 years old, this is really good. These cars share a lot in common with the Challengers as far as structural, suspension-wise. The rear ends are very similar in width. The cross member, I think in 72 is when they started to kind of standardize a lot of things. And they share a whole lot of parts structurally with the Challengers. Now, of course, the car on the outside is totally different to the point where by 72, 73, a lot of stuff car-wise was basically the same across the board. So it does make it easier for finding parts and a lot easier to work on. Now the interior on this car, a lot better than you'd expect, honestly. Again, in typical Chrysler fashion, everything is green because for some reason they're just like, hey, just make all of it green. Doesn't matter. We don't have to do anything like that. My 69 Charger, same exact way. Green interior, green exterior, all of it. But, I mean, when it's all nice and really done up pretty well, it looks really good. And that's the good thing about this is that it's got super nice door panels. The dash isn't perfect, but it's complete. I mean, check out the gauges there. Does it have a 150 mile per hour speedometer?
Yep.
It does. So that's, I mean, all that's there. All of it's original. One small crack in the gauge cluster that I can see. So you can see it is a column shift. So that's bare bones. No floor shift, no bucket seats. The worst part about the interior, I guess, would be that right there in front of you. The seat on this side looks really good, and the back seat is flawless. But what's cool about it, can you see the Roadrunner stitching in the back seat? Somebody took the seat out and decided, hey, let's just customize it a little bit. And they had it stitched with Roadrunner. And I think that's cool. That has to stay with the car because you can see a little bit of modification. But honestly, that's really the only mod that was done to this car. I mean, that's all we've noticed was that right there. Somebody took the time to just stitch the back seat out. And I think that's pretty neat. Take a look at the door panels, though. That looks beautiful. Both sides are like that. The rears are like that. I mean, the headliner, I mean, it's got some holes in it. Nothing too bad. It's at least not falling down. So I think it's definitely usable. The visors look really good. That's probably the first time that visor's been down in 35 years. The glove box, oh, the liner's still there. The lid doesn't want to move though, so we're gonna have to try and open that up. I don't see anything. What is that? It's like Indiana Jones in here. Ice breaker, oh, it's an ice scraper. Yeah, hey, sweet, little ice scraper there. And the fun thing is you get a nice little Roadrunner head right there. We've got an extra set of tail lights. There's 3 tail lights. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa!
That's cool.
I bet somebody was going to paint it this color, you think? So we got an extra turn signal. What is it? There's really nice tail lights, which I think this car has good lenses already. And there you go, we've got 3 of those. Oh, there's a flasher, so I bet the hazards don't work or the turn signals don't work, so we'll have to figure all that out. But I like this car. This is nice to have at least a really good interior because, you know, eventually what we could do, maybe put new carpet in it, kind of touch up the dash in some places, fix that front seat. This car is really nice for what it is. Now that door over there makes a lot of noise that we can kind of fix, but I just want to show you how well preserved this car is. Look how nicely the doors open and close. Doesn't sag, no movement up and down whatsoever. Closes right back. Look at that. That is solid. You don't see that. So the thing that makes a Roadrunner is what the base engine comes with. You have a 383 HP as your starting engine. Now you could get a 440, you could get a 4-barrel, 6-pack, even the Hemi in 71. This car has the base engine, and the thing about this car is that it literally is the most basic Roadrunner you possibly could buy, because somebody wanted a hot rod, but they wanted it on a budget. And that's what the Roadrunner really could be. Here we go. My favorite part about the car, that right there. So whenever I said basic, I meant basic. All we have underneath the hood is nothing. There's literally no options. There's no power steering, there's no power brakes, there's no air conditioning, 2-speed wipers, but you end up with a 383 HP. And again, a 383 is a very stout combination. Super good engine. I mean, they did pay the extra money. I don't know if you could get a 3-speed or not, but they did get an automatic transmission. So here, we're gonna lift this pie tin off and look at that. 383 Roadrunner engine. That's hard to find right there. That is fantastic. We might even get a replacement one. That might even clean up, we'll see. So if I'm not mistaken, in 71, there was a transitionary year with the carburetor. So in 70 and back, you would have the Carter AVS, which was basically what an Edelbrock is today. If you ever seen an Edelbrock AVS 2, that's what the AVS 1 is, basically, before this. So you have the Holly that comes in, this vacuum secondary 4-barrel, to kind of mend the gap. Because in 72, that's when you see the Carter Thermoquad come out. And everybody loves the Thermoquad. Well, it's either a love-hate. So we get a Holly here. This is, I don't even know, it's probably like a 600 or 650, of course, vacuum secondaries. Nothing crazy, nothing wild, but it was just kind of a placeholder to get things going. But look at this orange, original orange paint on the valve cover there. That's showing you that this is an HP. We've got the manifolds from the factory. I'm trying to, I don't really see anything that's just not original on this car. And that's what makes me so excited about it. And you saw us test this horn. That was the first thing I had to do, was see if this horn worked. And what's cool about this car was back when Chrysler was deciding to build the Roadrunner, they approached Warner Brothers and are like, hey, we want to use your Roadrunner, but if you say no, we are prepared to do it our own way. We already have our own design picked out. And that's where they're like, okay, fine, we'll play ball. And then you get the Roadrunner. And that's where the meep meep horn comes from. And of course it works. And that makes me so happy. So I see this engine being completely cleaned out, detailed, if it runs. That's the main kicker right there. We need to see, will this thing actually run, maybe take gear, all those sorts of things. We've got a lot of stuff on our plate, figuring out the ignition cylinder situation, getting it out of gear, getting the steering column sorted out as well. But I really want to figure out if this thing runs. But the first thing I want to do before any of that, we need to get a baseline. We need to figure out, how is this thing going to shine? How's it going to look when it's ready to be actually worked on? And I mean, regardless if this thing runs or not, it's going to get the love and attention that it deserves. So first things first, I say we wash it. Already looks better. Look at that green. Hopefully it stays looking like that after we wash it. Yeah. Wow. All up under that wiper there, yeah. We got some crud. I'm gonna use the abrasive side. Ooh, nice and pretty. Look at that difference. Wow. You can really see how dirty that roof is when you put water on it. So the black stains on there.
Trunk is nasty.
Yes, it is. This side had to be sitting next to a tree. Nothing but brown. Wow. Wow, that is gross. The roof of the trunk, really the worst of it. There we go. Seems a little smoother now. This right here, shoo, that is rough. Might have to do about 2 or 3 washes on this thing. I hated to pressure wash it because this car is so nice. I don't want to hurt anything. I'm gonna be tired before this is over. Ooh, man. And it's just nasty. What we'll do is we'll go over and do all this, and then we'll probably do another hand wash just to make sure that it's all good, because there's a lot of stuff on here that you might not be able to see on camera. It's pretty nasty. I don't think I'm gonna wash my rust. I'll just skim over the top of it. Yes. Oh man, you can seriously tell a difference with this side versus the other. I don't care what anybody says, that green, holy smokes, that looks so good. And look at the difference on the trunk. Wow, that is amazing. This thing is disgusting. I can't believe how different this thing looks now. You can hear that. That's dirt all on this wash mitt. We want to make sure we don't hear nothing. This side right here, I don't know if it's any worse or what, but it is not wanting to come off. I'm gonna be like the next Karate Kid with the wax on, wax off over here. I'm gonna be a professional. We got one mirror, we need an extra. If anybody in the comments has a Roadrunner Sport mirror for the passenger side, and if you have it in F8 green, that'd be better. But if not, we'll take what we can get. Oh yeah, that's way better. My feet are cold. Should have worn my boots. There it is. Nice and clean. So what we're gonna do now is kind of go back over where I just washed and make sure that there's no spots that I missed, because I'm sure, you know, there might be something I didn't see or looked over, and we'll give it a good once over one more time just to make sure it's a good starting point to kind of do some paint restoration. But that looks so much better now. I love the way that shines. That's our goal. I want it to look like that when it's all done. There's our shine color. You can see when it's wet, it looks brand new. We got to really bring back this paint. That's exactly what I want it to look like. No clear coat, no gimmicks, just original paint. So I wanted to go through and decode the fender tag to kind of just see how original is this car and compare it to what we've got going on. So you can see here, we've got everything here. And in a Mopar, that's what you want. You want to be able to have all the fender tag details. And I've decoded it on this website, so I have a list of everything. So RM23, Plymouth Belvedere, Satellite, so I guess that's what the R means. The M means medium class, I suppose. It's not like a high class. Roadrunner, two-door hardtop. N1C, which is right there. That stands for 383, 300 horsepower, 1.4-barrel, 1971, built in Jefferson Avenue, Michigan. Then there's a sequence number. So E65 means 383 4-barrel, V8, 300 horsepower. Then we have D32, which means heavy-duty transmission, which should be a 727. Then GF7, so I thought it was F8, but it's actually F7 green, which is dark green metallic for Dodge, or Sherwood green for Plymouth. And that is what this is on the outside, so Sherwood green. Then, let's see, H257 means high trim vinyl bench seat, unknown color. We know the color because the next one is GF7 once again, which is Sherwood green metallic for Plymouth, interior door frames. 306 is the build date, again GF7 for top color. So I mean, I guess that just means like if it had a vinyl top, it would have a different color. A87 Roadrunner decor package. B11 HD drum brakes, 10-inch, interesting. G36 outside dual racing mirrors, which we're missing one. I need one of those. M21 roof drip rail moldings. Yep, that's there. N41 dual exhaust. We do have dual exhaust, and I think it's factory. R11 radio solid state AM. V21 performance hood treatment. So we got the 383 call out with the decals here. V8W transverse stripes, white. So it is white. That's what it's supposed to be on this car. That's exactly what I wanted to find out. And then that is all we have. It does not tell me what kind of rear end gearing that we have, so we're going to have to crawl up under the car to find that. But now I feel better knowing what kind of options. And from what I can tell, did any of those sound like it wasn't original or like it's not on the car right now? The only thing we're missing is the other mirror, but everything else seems to be exactly how it left the factory. So this thing would look awesome, green and white. That's just a weird color combo, you know, green with white. That's beautiful. So F7 green, Sherwood green metallic paint. Oh man, I'm so glad to see how original this car is. My guess, 323s or 355s. We know it's an open gear set. That's just what I'm guessing, so I'm going to crawl up under there and see if I can find out. So you can see it is dirty up under here, but everything is solid and original, even down to the vents for the gas tank. I hope you can see those, but there's the dual exhaust going out the rear here. And that looks all original to me, folks. The back floor pans, super nice. That's rust-free. The only rust, like I said, is up there towards the front. Our frame rails, these Mopars right here are typical to rust out right here, and that all looks good. You can see the trunk extensions really are our only problem for rust. That's an easy, well, it's not an easy fix, but it is fixable. The gas tank, I think, started leaking. Yeah, looks like it's got a hole somewhere in it, maybe. I'm not sure. But my main goal is to just show you guys how clean it is, but find the rear end tag, which it should have. Let's see. 489 casing. That's the desirable third member. No tag on this side. Let's see. Oh, there it is. I can't read it. Briar, could you grab me like a flathead screwdriver? I can't see it from where I'm sitting. I see numbers though. It should literally just be the number. I know you guys can probably tell what it says, but I cannot see it from underneath the rear axle. Is that a 323? Yep, sure is. 323, just like I expected. That's like your basic, you know, run-of-the-mill gear set you see in like a Roadrunner or something like this. And it's open, so spin that side, Briar. So that one's going reverse, and that one's going forward. So it is, you know, no big deal. Oh, and it's got the heavier drums. It did say that, so that's cool. Look at that, though. I'm excited about this car. That makes me feel pretty good, but this everything up under here is just super nice and super solid. I'm hoping that the trunk floor is the same way. Who knows, but we'll find out here shortly. But yeah, everything is as original as it can get. Well, we don't have a fan belt. This is a direct fan on this thing, but look. I can't really test if it's locked up or not. So what I'm gonna do is take this pry bar and we're just gonna try and rotate the engine over by hand. No. I might have to take the fan off. Let's see. Oh, there we go. All right, ready, set. Oh, or did it just tighten? Oh yeah, it's not stuck. The balancer's moving. Let me just keep doing a couple more rotations just to make sure that we don't have like a hard spot in a ring or something. Oh, that moves so easily, which either means the rings are worn out to oblivion and we have zero compression, or it just wants to run. Well, that makes me feel pretty good. How about you, Briar? I feel good about that. It ought to run now. Looks like somebody has already done a little hot wiring here. This is probably just some kind of crossover wire that they ran to the battery. I'm going to take this off. Oh, let's get a good look at that Holly. I don't really know much about this original Holly. I've never dealt with one of these specifically. Before we get too crazy though, oh, wait a minute. Where does this go? Interesting. Let's see, that one's there.
One over here that's not got a...
Oh, is it not? Just one of them?
Yeah.
All right, put that one on there. Look at there. We just solved the mystery of why this thing got parked. One plug wire. Yeah, that one's on. Their other three are on. That's probably all original right there. Let me get that distributor cap off here and see what we're working with. It's going to be points, but how good are the points is the real question. Ooh. Not great, Briar. Not great. Yeah, I've seen better. But the good news is, big blocks are super easy to mess with. We don't have a key, but we can cross it over and just see if it'll spin. I mean, it's not locked up. It's got, here, we did check this off camera, but I'll show you this. It does have oil in it. I mean, it's not great, of course. A little gassy, but it's enough to crank on it, and it's full, so that's good. I do want to disconnect the fuel line, but we can just make sure it spins over, check for spark, do our usual stuff. So let me cut that line. The last thing we need is this thing full of tar. Just need to create a leak, that's all. Yep, there you go. That was as brittle as it gets. Oh my goodness. You want to hear any clickies? I hear something, you hear that?
I heard it. Yeah.
Something's live. Relay's right there. I guess we could just jump it over and see what happens. We just need to send it to that. I'm gonna go grab my power probe. I see what was live. Look here.
Oh my gosh.
That's what's live. We've got lights on. Is that what it is? It might be the brake light switch, I bet. The pedal got mashed or something. Now see if it's...
Yeah,
They're off now. So it's got brake lights. That's good. So they're going on and off right now? Cool. Let's just try lights. You want to? We can't check for turn signals or any of the accessories, but we can at least see if there's any kind of headlights. Pull the marker lights. Anything? What about? Oh, the turn signal I think is on. Well, the turn signal light's on for some reason. Huh. Oh, the flasher's out, remember?
Oh, yeah.
That might be causing a problem. What about headlights? Oh, the knob came off. All of them?
Yeah.
Really? The dimmer switch is stuck. Oh my goodness. That is beautiful. Oh, that one's probably on because it thinks the turn signal's on, because that right light in the gauge panel is on. For some reason, I don't know why. So I bet you if we come back here, well, no, that'd be a different circuit though, so it wouldn't make sense. We got one tail, ooh, no, we got tail lights in different spots though. You know what it is? Just like every old car we work on, somebody's pulled the sockets out of the lights or pulled the bulbs out for no reason. So it's probably, because this one on brake and tail light worked, didn't it? On both sides, so they probably have a blown one here, or they pulled the socket out on those inside ones. That's good, that's a sign of life. That is really cool. No dome light or nothing. Cool, that is awesome. Well, here we go. Without further ado, let's hook this power probe up. And I'm gonna just go ahead and do a PSA. If you don't have a power probe and you even wanna try to wire anything, what are you doing? I'm not sponsored by Power Probe, but they make one of the coolest products known to man. I have wired so many different little things in so many cars. It's so easy to test stuff. Look at this. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hit that yellow wire right there. Oh, I'm scared. Oh, something happened. Let me just take this wire off. Get it out of the way. Ooh, it's very corroded. Oh, lost a connection here. There we go. Huh. I think we're having there's been some kind of repair done to this cable, and I'm wondering if that's causing a problem. Every time I try to crank it, oh. Oh, it's spinning. It is spinning. So you can't see the crank pulley, but watch the distributor right there. Oh, it's got compression too. Ooh, that's good. Oh my Lord. Yes, 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 yes. Whew. That is exciting. It is not locked up. It sounds like it's got great compression. That is good. So to make this work, we're going to do a couple simple yet effective modifications here that you shouldn't do, but this is how you stole cars back in the day. But you know, you can't do that anymore, so don't do this at home. So since they've already rigged up our hot wire here, I'm gonna see if I hook this up to power, does it do anything? Oh yeah, you hear that? There's some power going on. It's live, it wants to live at least. I'm gonna hook this underneath this cable. So now it should have 12 volts on the hot side of the coil. Let me test that. Should be, yep, that's grounded. Whoa, what the heck is this? Somebody has rigged up something here. There's an alligator clip on the hot side of the, oh, that's the wire I'm using. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, wow, it's hot. Hold on, I shouldn't have goofed with it. So I'm gonna spin it over. I'm gonna just go ahead and assume that the points don't have any spark, but Briar, if you want to, you check those points and just tell me, do you see anything? Nothing at all? Okay, well, that's what we expected. So we're gonna tell you what, just to see if it's got any live wire in there, I'm gonna try and just open and close them and see if I see any sparks. Oh yeah, it's ready to fire. Let's take them points out, and then we're gonna clean those up, and this thing's gonna, ow, run. Oh, come on. That's gonna be a booger. Come on out of there. There we go. Thank you. You know what would have been smart is to rotate the engine up on a lobe. We didn't do that, because why would we? Don't lose the screw. Don't lose that screw. Don't need to drop it down into the distributor. Those look good. I'm wondering if our condenser's bad. Like these, yeah, they actually look really good under here. But we're gonna try it anyway. That looks very clean. That's shockingly clean. This wiring here doesn't make me feel any better though. Heck, you could have had a bad gap too. Who knows? Get in there, in there, in there, in there. Ah! That was so close to being a catastrophe. Oh, shoot. I can see it. I need a magnet.
Oh, you done did it.
I done goofed. Thank you. That could have been bad. This wire is in my way. It's making it a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. No! Oh! Why is this so annoying? I gotta get lower. I gotta get eye level. I have to become one with the distributor. Don't worry, guys. Screws in. That looks like a gap. Take you back where you belong. Who's that? Wrong. 38 Special.
Oh, yeah.
It's sparking?
Sparking.
Really?
Kid you not.
That's impressive. Okay. Okay. From my last video, we've learned. Put these back in before you try to do everything else. So you're seeing it now. I'm growing, Briar. I'm learning from my mistakes.
About time.
Finally. No longer am I a degenerate. Well, never mind. I lied. Distributor cap is back on. We have spark. Well, we didn't verify it at the plugs. Yeah, let's just put a little gas down in there. I don't know if there's any fire. We need to check for spark at the spark plugs, actually. Let's do that. They could be just like really fouled or dirty. Ooh, that wire got super hot. That starter's probably on its last leg. We got a plug wire off for number 1. Let's ground you. No spark. I don't know. I mean, it's getting power to the coil. I think we lost spark again, Briar. The coil could be bad. Nothing at all. We think we might have a dead coil. I've got an MSD had laying around. We're going to try it, see if that fixes anything. We would think it would hit. So, I mean, that's just my assumption. What does assuming get us, though?
Killed.
I didn't learn my lesson. I don't think you want this car to run, honestly.
No, I'm going to cut all your spark plug wires.
I am adding a new coil wire just to be on the safe side because I didn't like the way it looked. Nothing. Oh, you know why? Because that's not hooked up. I saw a spark. A little baby spark. But we're going to try that. I have a good feeling about this now. A little gas.
All of it.
Or a lot of gas, actually. That's what it was. It was very noisy and very rattly, but it just fired right up like it was parked yesterday. Yes. That sounded good, didn't it?
It did.
That was impressive. I want to try it again. Let's try and fill up the bowl, which it probably got zero float going on here. It's all stuck, I'm sure. But wow, did that thing want to run. Oh. Are you flooded, buddy? Ow! Wow, that cable's hot. Oh, we caught that time. She's a little wounded, I think. The carburetor's not happy. And this is smoking now. One more time and we're going to have to let it cool off. Let me give it a little throttle. Oh, no. Battery's getting weak because that starter is not happy. This is hot. like really, really hot. Regardless of all that, this thing just fired up and ran for the first time in 35 years. Let me tell you, that's a good feeling because I really, really wanted this original engine to be good. I think with a good carburetor, we can really make some stuff work. We're just gonna go ahead and put the electric pump on just because we're curious. I wanna see what does and doesn't leak on this thing because I bet money one, the float stuck. This little accelerator pump diaphragm under the carburetor, that's gonna be leaking, I'm sure, as soon as we fill it up, if it even works at all. Oh, the suspense is killing me. Oh, there you go. Oh, I hear it. Heck, I think it worked. Let her go. Wow, it filled up, and I don't see anything leaking, do you? That's impressive, so that means the needle and seat's working. Ooh, I'm excited. I want to see if anything happens when I do this. Oh, the accelerator pump doesn't even move. It's stuck. Okay, well, cool. Oh, come on. It's smoking. I think our battery's getting too, what's it, 12.4. Might have to put the charger on it. Oh.
There's so much.
Yeah, I hate it.
This is like a rebel.
I hate it when it gets like this. It's just awful. Well, we had to hook up our jump box here. The problem is that two things. The battery started to get a little weak because we ran it in a car that didn't have a good alternator, and the starter is also very weak. Okay. That was better. It got quieter. Smoothing out. Might take it a little bit to build up oil pressure and get quiet, but that's good. Then we have an exhaust leak too, don't we? Wow. Wow. Can you believe that? That is awesome. Dang. Now you heard it was really clattery at the beginning and then it got quieter. It's gonna have to build up really proper oil pressure. So what we'll probably do at this point, you know, we can change the oil, maybe play around with it a little bit, but that is so much better than what I had anticipated. You know, it's gotta go from the bottom. These things have a hard time oiling, especially when they sit for a long time. And you know, you can pull the distributor, but it's super hard to prime it without having any kind of like, you got to pull the gear out. It's not fun, but we knew it wasn't locked up, so we didn't think it would be a problem. But that is such a good foundation for something great. And the carburetor, I mean, yes, it's probably going to need a set of plugs. It needs probably rebuilding, but that is super good for what this car like started as. I mean, I had no intentions of this thing running. I was just like, yeah, it's not gonna run. That is so good. I don't even know what to do right now. This is one of the coolest cars that we've ever worked on. We wanted to change the oil now that we actually heard it run. And that includes getting whatever you would call this oil out of here. I mean, this is more like dinosaur water, if you want to call it anything. Whoa! It said, to heck with it, I'm gone. Wow, that is straight water. Holy smokes. But it was full though, so I don't feel bad running it. But yeah, it didn't need to run very long, that's for sure. It smells terrible too.
Yeah, it does.
Wow. You can't even see it. Like, it's all rusty. There's no logo on it or nothing. All right, oil pen, you're gonna have to drain a little faster than that because this is not looking pretty. We're almost at capacity, Briar. You did say it was heavy before we drained it, but I didn't listen.
Maybe it doesn't burn it.
Maybe they just put like 12 quart. Maybe it's a diesel. That's why it rattles.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense. Pretty clean up under here. You know, not a whole lot of missing stuff. I see the torque converter inspection plate is gone. So that's going to have to be replaced. I've got a couple of those, so that's no big deal. We do have a front sway bar. That's awesome. Everything else looks really nice. I don't see any rust. Hey, we didn't top it off. We didn't get too high.
It was just draining slow.
Yeah, there's all that sludge in there. This filter, holy smokes. It's on there. Oh, it moved. Okay, better than I thought it was. One thing I love about big block filters, it just kind of pours wherever it feels like right there. Where's it gonna go? Nobody knows. And off it goes. Ew, that's water. Let me get this new filter in here. Tight. Sweet. This is a Motorcraft. Is this an FL1A? I bet it is, because that's, yep, look at there. See that? FL1A. One of the best filters ever. That's how I genuinely put those in a lot of cars. They're just so expensive now. Golly, you could get them for $4 used to, and now they're 12. Ugh. You're probably wondering, why are we putting ATF in the engine? Well, that's because this is used oil. I actually drained the oil out of my Charger because it had virtually no miles. It was a cam break-in. We're just wanting to make sure that this engine is good. Look how black that is, though. There's 0 miles on it. I mean, I've had it idling, that's it. This is, again, just to make sure that this engine's good, because it was rattling pretty heavily. And if the engine's shot, then we are out the filter. Tells you how bad the Charger was running with that old carburetor. If you haven't seen that series, you need to go check that out on my build series on my channel, because this right here had only runtime, idle time, 0 driving, and it's pitch black because the carburetor was so rich. Thing's a rattle monster. The starter is so weak that even though the battery is fully charged, it's having a hard time spinning over. So it's full of fuel. We've got a jump box on the battery now. It should spin faster. There we go. Okay. There we go. Did it seem a little quieter though? It seemed a little bit better. Let me try and give it just a smidgen of throttle. Just a smidgen. Seems like it's, I bet you the float might be stuck. Let me try and tap on it, because what's happening, the float is stuck and it's stuck shut. So even though the needle and seat is fully like ready to accept more fuel, it can't, I think. I don't really know. Here we go. It's starting to pour out of the vent. Yeah, the float's stuck now. It started pouring gas out of here. This carburetor definitely needs going through. It's quiet now. No valve train rattle at all. That's just exhaust. That's good. Wow. Yeah. Come listen to the exhaust. Sounds pretty good, don't it? It's not that bad. I mean, yeah, it's gonna need some plugs, you know, get a better spark, of course, but it's idling clean. There's no smoke or nothing. Wow, that is fantastic. Man, I'm trying to run out of fuel because I gotta try and take it apart and rebuild it, but. And that's all she wrote. Well, it got a little temperature, started smoking a little bit. You know, that's a good sign. Things are starting to kind of free up, but you know, seeing that we have no more top end noise because we actually have oil that's no longer water, it's a good sign. This old Plymouth's got some life left in her. That makes me really excited about this car. Man, I love it. Oh, I'm so scared. Ooh. Well, I mean, there's some stuff in here. I was really hoping for that other remote mirror, but it's not in here. So we got a full-size spare. That's pretty cool. We've got an old fuel filter, old fuel pump, old air filter. 40th anniversary of bars leak. So like for the radiator, that's not a good sign. Uh-oh. And there's a second fuel pump in here. So you got two of those. Some lid that's full, oh, Frisbees. Okay, full of water. That's great. Oh, it's broken. Dang, I guess it got ripped off. Do you think JB Weld can fix that? Maybe.
What color?
Yeah, if I could find the base for it. There's a brake booster too. This thing wasn't power, was it? I'll have to check around the options here. I don't think it said it was power brakes. Some antifreeze. That's the transmission dipstick tube. Does it have one? Yeah, you checked it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so somebody replaced that for some reason. What is? Oh, this is part of the exhaust. Somebody replaced that. There's an old shock, and then a big block windage tray that's still in really good shape. I wonder if this one got removed. So I wonder if the engine's been out before. Huh. Cool finds nonetheless. I mean, we at least figured out some stuff about it. There's a little shock, some speakers. Oh, they just had speakers just wired in, laying on the ground. There's 3 speakers in the trunk. But is the trunk pretty solid? It's got some pinholes in it. It's not perfect, but it does have a couple spots. So, you know, we've definitely seen worse. We've seen better. All the good stuff. I see we've had some fuel pump problems, some radiator problems, brake problems maybe. But I would think that maybe they bought this because they planned on putting power brakes on it. So I don't think it's a power brake car personally. That's cool though. At least we know what happened to the mirror. That mystery solved. Somebody just karate kicked it. Oh, and look at the original paint. Look how clean that is. And there's 0 rust in this deck lid. That looks fantastic. Very, very, very nice. The last thing I wanted to test out, how good is the transmission? So I'm going to fire it back up and we're going to drop it in gear because I got a key made for this thing and now I'm able to unlock the ignition, turn the wheel, and put it in different gears. Who would have thought? Fires up pretty good now though. All right, here we go. Reverse. Maybe I need to let it kind of build up some fluid. It was groaning. I'm going to let it run in neutral for a little bit to kind of build up some, like, let fluid circulate. Yeah, it's in neutral, so it's building up, it's circulating fluid because the pump is actually like engaging, which is probably low. Nothing. It's probably just low on fluid. Let me check it. Oh yeah. Fluid is very low. All right, let me try go back in reverse now. Nothing. Probably just super low of fluid. Well, that's okay. I heard it groan like the pump, and we saw it move. It's just super low. It idles pretty good. I mean, you know, with some good plugs, it idles really good. Pretty cool to hear what a stock Roadrunner would sound like. You know, firing on all 8 though, instead of, what, 3? That's pretty cool. You don't get to hear that very often. Well, we've got a lot done today. The car runs, the car is clean. We've got an idea of this car is pretty much as original as it gets. I'm so thankful that this car is actually going to be put back on the road because that's what it deserves. This is basically a time capsule from a period long gone, and it needs to be put back on the road and treated properly. And that's exactly what I intend to do. So this is the end of part 1. Make sure you subscribe, turn on the notifications, leave a like if you want to see part 2. We will get that as quickly as possible because we have a lot of work ahead of us. We got to make sure this thing runs properly, can actually drive and stop properly, and we're going to do some restoration work that will preserve this car for years and years to come. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like down below. Feel free to leave a comment, order a t-shirt and a sticker because all that money goes directly back into getting stuff like this back on the road. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you in the next one.